Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, and hopefully a few future mumrads. I'm Littlefinger, here today to share a little bit more knowledge with you guys. This time I am talking about the newly introduced Tier 3 light tank, the M3 Stuart. You can see it here in our Winter 2016 garage. And to all of those people out there, happy holidays. We are a week away from Christmas. Hope you are going to have time to spend it with family and also with tanks. All right, let's take a quick look at this new line that just came out with the latest update. You can see here it starts out at Tier 2 with the M2 Light. The tank we're reviewing today, Tier 3, the M3 Stuart, goes up to M5, M7, T21, and eventually all the way up to the T57 Heavy. These tanks feature an autoloader similar to the IS-3 Defender. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but I think once you're accustomed to the autoloaders, you're really going to like them, especially at the higher tiers. Taking a look at the characteristics, what you will find with this tank is it stands out because of its maneuverability. Hit points there at 330 is the lowest for the light tanks at Tier 3. However, the armor is really good on this tank, so I'll go into that a little bit more when I pull up the spreadsheet and during the gameplay. Keep in mind here that this gun is the M6 with 3 shells in the magazine and just over 9 seconds to reload and 0.6 seconds in between shots. So anyway, let's take a look at the spreadsheet. So looking at our spreadsheet, you will quickly see we got a lot of green up top and a lot of red on bottom. The only red on top there is with hit points. It comes in as the worst in class. However, it makes up for it with the best armor of any of the Tier 3 light tanks. It's got a great weight to horsepower ratio, which gives you a nice top speed of 61 kilometers per hour, and also good traverse speeds there at 52 and 44 on the turret traverse. Downside, obviously, is your penetration values and your damage per shot. With a rate of fire of 17 rounds per minute, you're actually going to get about 684 damage per minute out of that, which you can see is by far and away the bottom. So you're going to have to use your maneuverability in this tank, use your hard cover, relocate, and try to use the armor as best as you can. So let's take a look at Armor Inspector real quick, just to show you that armor. Alright, so here's Armor Inspector real quick. Just wanted to show you a couple things. You can see here, you're not going to get much bouncing off of the front of this tank, but if you angle it properly from the sides, you do some good side scraping in this tank, it can be quite effective. Also wanted to point out here with the turret, you are going to get negative 10 degrees of gun depression there up to 20 degrees up. So minus 10 degrees gun depression is fairly good for this tank, so you can use that to your advantage as well. Alright, quick look here at the consumables and equipment. You can see I'm running a repair kit, multi-purpose, and I chose to run the first aid kit, although I never used it. So another option would be the power boost or the fire extinguisher. Keep in mind with this new update, you can exchange without having to sell and rebuy at full cost. So you pick the one that you want and choose the one you want to replace it with, and you can see there that would be a 0 credit difference, so it wouldn't cost anything. Alright, provisions, I'm running standard fuel, can of cola, and protective kit, and that's primarily because I'm not too concerned about grinding credits at this point in time, so I would suggest just running protective kit if you wanted to save a few credits per game there. Ammunition, I was running 34 rounds of APCR, never used that much, but also never used 60 on the AP, so thought that was a fairly good setup. For equipment, I was running the vents, which obviously increases crew skills, and you can see how that impacts the tank now with the new update, which is kind of nice. And then the enhanced gun laying drive, and how that reduces your aiming time. That's all I chose to run with the equipment. If I would have, I might have installed the telescope here, just so I could sit back at long range and let the game unfold in front of me a little bit, and then decide where to move into position. And you can see here that dramatically increases your view range by about 60 meters there, almost up to 300. So that's quite a long way. So anyway, let's take a look at some gameplay. First game here is on Fort Despair. You can see top tier telling the team to go left and help support me. As one of the faster tanks out here, I know I'm going to be out in front. I also like going this way because there are lots of hard cover, hull down positions over here. So we'll get down to normal speed here after speeding it up there, just to move the game along a little bit faster. So you can see I'm cautiously coming around the corner. And T-82 is a beast at this tier. Pretty much can one-shot me, so I'm going to play this really cautious. Get 3 shots into him nicely. And he's turned and gotten distracted, so we'll finish him off there. Go ahead and hit the AP button, which allows me to reload because I had spent 1 of the 3 shells there. So now we're going to continue pushing around the corner, just looking for targets and playing it relatively cautiously. And you can see I'm using this ridge to my advantage, making sure I know where hard cover is. And T2 gets spotted, so we're going to put a couple shots out of the 3 into him. And you can see that not having too much of a problem showing that I'm going to be able to penetrate him. Go ahead and waste that 3rd shot so that I can go ahead and reload while I am going behind this rock and getting him into our sights. So I have a full magazine and can finish him off. The T-18, you can see there, has great frontal armor, but from the side here we're not going to have any problems with him. See how he turns around, and he's showing a good bit of red there, so I'm going to play this a little bit cautiously. Let him get distracted. Missed that shot. I'm going to go ahead and reload. And this is one of the things that you want to practice when you have autoloaders, is knowing when to go ahead and reload. If you're especially on a gun that's got more than 3 shells, 4 or 5 shells, you definitely want to manage that properly. Don't want to be running around with 1 shell and then have to wait a long time for a reload. So make the most of your downtime to reload when you get a chance. And we're going to go ahead and finish the SU off there. It's 3-on-3. The game is a lot tighter than I would have liked here, so we're going to go ahead and get a couple shots into the T-46. And shot from behind, so time to move forward. Don't want to trade shots unless I have to. And use my speed to get away. Kind of clip the edge of the building there, and then get tracked. But able to get a shot into him and finish him off there. And now it's down to 1-on-1, and that cruiser's got a little bit more life than I do. So I'm going to use my speed here and try to get a nice position where I know I can hide behind some rocks and maybe have some bushes as well that'll give me a little extra cover. So I'm going to run over to this ridge on the side of our spawn. And we're both spotted here, so I'm going to be real cautious about pulling up. I don't want to trade shots. Didn't realize he had such a good beat on me there, but he does it some damage. So now I'm in a bad situation because I think I'm about 2 shots on him, and I'm done for. So again, gonna use my speed and relocate, and hopefully he'll give me an opportunity to shoot him while he's on the move, and he doesn't. He's not as aimed as well because he is moving. So get 1 shot in there. Go ahead and reload. I know he's pushing around the right there of that rock. Gonna go ahead and get down low. Missed that first shot, but get the next 2 in. Now we're sitting pretty good. I think he needs 2 shots to get me, and I only need 1 at this point in time. So I'm gonna go ahead and back out and shoot as fast as I can and finish him off for kill number 5. I think it did over 1,000 damage in that game. But you can see how maneuverable I was, how much I used the entire battlefield. Never really stayed in any one spot. Looks like I got a shot in on all 7 tanks there. So let's take a look at another game. This game we're on Copperfield, and they've got a good platoon in the 501st reserves there. So I'm going to look at what our T-82s do. I want to stay close to them if possible. They are deadly at this tier. Pretty much can one-shot just about every tank. So we want to keep them in the game as long as possible. Now I've noticed that 501 has pushed up here a little bit too aggressively, and the rest of the team has stopped right here. Now you can see that I am side scraping off the side of this building. Get a shot in, back up. Go ahead and get another couple more shots into there. And I pull forward, and all I'm exposing is the side of my tank. So I'm hiding in the bushes, extra concealment, and just waiting for them to overexpose themselves and give me some good shots. Now I'm keeping an eye on that BT-7 artillery to my right. Obviously he's got a big gun, but I do have a tank between me and him, so if anything I think he's going to be aiming for that BT-7 there, and sure enough takes a big hit and backs away. So this martyr sticks himself around, and so I'll finish him off. And we're up 2 tanks right now, and that BT-7 artillery just takes out another tank. It's kind of crazy out there right now these days with this new tank that Wargaming just put out for Christmas, I guess. So everyone's got the BT-7 artillery, and you'll enter games with 6 or 7 of them on out of the 14. So anyway, we are up 2 tanks again now. So I'm going to relocate and push around the corner here and try to help the T-82 as much as possible. T-46 is headed this way. Go ahead and get him a couple shots, and I think it kind of causes him to back up a little bit. T-82 finishes him off, and now it's the 501 that's in our sight here. We're going to use this rock as our cover, so we'll get some shots in and we'll be able to back up. He's trying to do a little bit of side scraping, but I can penetrate his turret there as well. So he's going to drop off and make a run for it, and I'm going to make a flying leap over the side here. Nice. Fix those tracks and get moving again. And there is our lone survivor, and we are going to get into a nice little chase with this guy. So away we go here. Stuart chasing Stuart. And it's kind of funny, all the way through this, I'm only averaging about 1 out of every 3 shots that goes in. I mean, I'm aimed right on his butt there. I don't know why they're not penetrating, but whatever. You can see we're up to 40 kilometers, 47 kilometers an hour here. And I don't think he's going to outrun me. So I'm not sure why he's not trying to shoot as well. I'm just trying to ram him and track him. And he slams on the brakes and bounce a couple shots. So try to get him to miss a couple times. You can see didn't do a real good job with it, but then of course T-82 takes my kill. But I think that gives you a good example of its maneuverability and speed. Another 1,000 damage game. And against a pretty good platoon there. Next game here, Falls Creek. And we are low tier. So kind of looking for direction from the rest of the team. Follow us is not a direction, guys. Left or right is usually better. So anyway, after roaming around our spawn for a while there, I decide I'm just going to go ahead and come to this corner here and use this good gun depression to my advantage. I am spotted, so of course I'm going to relocate. I think that's just a general good idea. Keep in mind that once you do get spotted, just go ahead and relocate and get yourself behind some hard cover. M5 is taken out, and the rest of the team has pushed up onto the other side of the flag. So we're going to be patient here. We know we're behind cover. Shouldn't be spotted at all at this point in time. And this cruiser comes out and we finish him off. And I'm just going to drop down. There's no point staying up there while I'm reloading. Just extra chance of getting hit. M3 lead, I can't penetrate him, so I'm going to switch over to APCR, get 3 shots in. And again, back up and switch my ammo back to AP. And again, after being spotted, relocate. And instead of rushing into a situation you're not sure about, be cautious here. And you can see here, up against an M3 Stuart, so that's a tank tier above me. And he bounces a couple shots and gets me in the tracks for 0 damage. So. And then sitting here next to the A20 is always nice because he can pump out a ton of damage in a very short amount of time. So it's a good combination here. Get a couple more into the M5 and finish him off. And now we've got 2 left. They are down in the river, so we'll go ahead and push up on them. Now it's just down to 1. And fairly good game. Basically, just using the terrain here to my advantage, using that gun depression, relocating when I get spotted, and always having hard cover to back up behind, never getting caught out in the open. So you can see 655 damage there. It was a level 1. Even against top tier. Alright guys, one more game here I wanted to show you. And what I want you to take away from this is angling your tank and side scraping, and just how that'll increase the number of bounces you get, and obviously will keep you in the game longer. So I'm just poking around the corner here, trying to get some spots. And you can see here I do get hit there. I wasn't sure who was down there, where they were at. But I'm using this ridge line right now, and I'm bouncing a couple shots, but I'm keeping the front side of my tank angled so that if the shot hits off of the air, it's most likely going to ricochet. Now, obviously, that was a bit lucky that the T-82 missed, and I know he's got a long reload, and catching him on fire and finishing him off there certainly helped this game out a lot. But what I'm going to do here is push up to the edge of this rock and get my spots. And I was going to go down there, but obviously those tanks, 3 tanks still down there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to angle my tank just off the side of the edge of this rock here. And then once I've reloaded, I can pull forward. You see how he bounces off the side of my tank there? And again, I can drop down here on the M3, get a couple shots in, and then pull right up, and he's got no shot whatsoever on me. So he's going to have to back down, expose the side of his tank here, and I'll get, unfortunately, only 1 good shot in. So he's actually got more hit points than me at this point in time. But I am going to get a couple more good shots in here. And the other thing, he bounces and I'm wiggling side to side. And one thing to note, guys, when you get a tank getting around you, make sure you turn your tracks and your turret at the same time. I see a lot of guys just turning their turret. You can obviously turn a lot faster when you're turning the whole tank and the turret as well. So anyway, that was just a game to use as an example of getting some good bounces. So I think I've shown you a good couple ways to help offset that low DPM in this tank and make it successful in your win rate. And as always, guys, stay safe out there, have fun, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.